it's a wrap. It's a wrap on the Understand Your Child Challenge. It's been on for 1 month now, and I think a month and 2 days now. And today is the official end of the challenge. And so I literally had to drag myself to do this today because I've had a very busy day. You know, the self-led summer mentorship class for preteens and teens ongoing, and a whole lot of other activities I have to do, but I had to drag myself literally here today to conclude the class. So if you are here, you want to stay from the beginning to the end, you want to share your thoughts, you want to ask your questions, it's important you ask your questions, you want to share this video to benefit every other parent you know. Yes, everyone needs to understand their children better. My name is Enimia Rebel, and this is Parenting with Enimia Rebel. It is powered by the Visionary Parent Academy, an academy where parents come together to get empowered on how to achieve their parenting vision, where they are going, know exactly where they are going in their parenting life, and achieve their parenting vision at the end of the day. So it's been Understand Your Child's Challenge, and we've gone through quite a number of activities. We've had to understand our children's temperament, we've had to understand our children's learning style, we've had to understand our children's developmental age, the phase they are. We have to understand our children's social interaction, how it impacts our children. And today is a wrap, ended the class. Now, one of the things I always want to tell you, I always want to tell parents is that, see, as a parent, we need to understand our children. It is vitally important. I get questions every day. Sometimes I don't know what to answer those questions. Sometimes I feel that, how can you be asking this kind of a question? Excuse you, you know, I get parents like questions like parents hitting their children, their toddlers, their toddlers, even their teenagers. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, even if you don't know anything, don't you know age? Don't you know developmental age? Like hitting your 2 years old, hitting your 3 years old, even hitting your 4 years old. I don't understand how that makes sense. And one of the reasons why parents do this is because they do not have the right knowledge. So I want to encourage you, parents, to seek the right knowledge. There are some things we don't do. We don't go back doing the things that are long gone and are dated. No, don't. All you need to do is to seek knowledge. A parent talking about, hitting your 2 years old. How on earth can you hit your 2 years old? At that age, children are completely innocent. They do not know anything. Sometimes we think they know something. They do not know because they cannot process, they cannot understand. So they just learn by, should I say, they are assuming. They don't really understand. They cannot understand what is going on. So, dear parents, you need to understand your child, and the basic areas you need to understand in your child are: one, your child's temperament, because your child's temperament will determine a lot of things about your child. Every child is not the same, and when you say every child is not the same, by temperament, every child is not the same. You need to understand your child's temperament. Every single child is not the same. We have 4 major temperaments. Sit down. We have taken the challenge already. Sit down. I shared my book on it with you. It's both in hard copy and e-copy. Sit down and understand your child's temperament. If your child is strong-willed, if your child is choleric, if your child is strong-willed, if your child is choleric, if your child is very sensitive, your child is melancholic, if your child is very calm, quiet, peaceful, your child is phlegmatic, if your child is lively, the life of the party, full of life, full of energy, if your child is sanguine, understand those things. You do not expect the same things from them. Do not expect them to behave the same way, whether at home, whether outside or anywhere. They are likely not going to behave the same way. They are going to behave according to their temperament. And when you understand your child's temperament, it helps you a great deal know exactly what to expect from your child. You have to know what to expect from your child. Understand your child's temperament. Another thing you need to understand is, we did not talk much about in this class, was your child's love language. It is very, very important that you understand your child's love language. When you understand your child's love language, you will know how to love that child. I remember I've shared this story over and over again. Back then in the university, I had someone very close to me, and one time she came and said, nah, she was done with the guy she was dating. She was done. And I sat back, I was like, are you okay? Is anything the matter? This was a guy that literally like carried you on his head. Like we say in Nigeria, he was always there for you. You know, when you sneeze, like when you sneeze, he falls sick. That was how the guy was loyal and everything. Everybody thought, oh, you were the luckiest girl on earth. And one day you just woke up and said, nah, you're with this guy. And I said, what is the issue? She said, I'm not feeling him. I'm not feeling him. And I was like, are you kidding me? You are not feeling this guy. Is something wrong with you? You know, I didn't know then what I know now, that even though the guy was trying his best, the guy's best was not meeting her needs, was not meeting her love needs. The same thing happens if you are not meeting your child's love needs. Your child is not going to feel loved. So as a parent, you need to understand your child's love needs. You need to understand your child's love language and express love to your child the way your child needs to be loved. That way your child will feel loved. It is super important. We have the book Understanding Your Child again. It is going to help you, teach you to understand your child's love language. And there's a popular book on the 5 love languages. You need to also, if you get that book, you can get the e-copy, and I'm sure there's a free copy of it online. Just check on it online and you get on how to understand your child's love, the 5 love languages of children or something like that. Even for spouse, you have them. You need to understand your child's love needs. I keep saying it over and over again. I cannot talk about it enough, because you have a child and your child is not feeling loved. Your child is going to feel empty, and your child is going to go out there to seek love. They're going to go out there to seek someone to love them, to feel empty, because everyone loves to be loved. Every single human being desires to be loved. We desire it. So if your child feels empty at home, your child is going to go out there, outside, to seek that love, outside to want to feel loved. And guess what? When it comes to child sexual abuse, many times these pedophiles, what they do, they profile the children. When we talk about profiling the children, one of the things when we talk about profiling the children, one of the things these sexual abusers actually do is they want to understand a child, that they want to know how much your child feels loved at home, how much love your child feels at home. They want to look at body language that kind of shows if your child is empty, your child actually feels love, your child's love tank is full or empty. They look at those things, and when they look at those things, they know exactly how to strike. It is why if you don't give your child verbal validations enough at home, your child, they come in from that angle. They start validating your child. Oh, they are beautiful, they are smart, they are intelligent, they are XYZ. Before you know what is happening, your child is feeling loved. Your child begins to feel loved by those people. Though even when they see the red flags or the signs, they feel loved by them. So you need to understand your child's love language. You need to understand your child's love language. It is very important. You see how gifts also, it is why, I always say, I've seen several times people who were abused, and you ask them, why didn't you tell your parents? No, even though they knew they were being abused, even though they knew that it was not right, even though they knew that their parents were going to defend them, yet they still did not tell their parents. One of the reasons they did not tell their parents, I'm talking about adults now that were abused as much younger. One of the reasons they didn't tell their parents they were abused, because they actually thought that abuser loved them. They thought the abusers loved them. Till today, children still think their abusers love them. Why? Because the abuser is feeling in the emptiness they feel at home. There is something about them that they are feeling so empty. They feel empty. The love tank is not full. The love language is not being spoken at home. So when this abuser, who has smartly profiled them, begin to now speak this love language to them, these children, they feel the abuser actually loves them. So even when they know that, okay, it is not right, they do not want to tell, because they actually feel loved. When you don't understand your child, when you don't understand your child as a parent, you do not know how to meet their love needs. Another major thing we struggle with is our children's learning styles. Oh my God, we compare. We use one standard to judge everyone, all the children in school, at home, everywhere. And at the end of the day, we do not understand these children learning style, and we are pressuring them, we are breaking them. I always say that at the end of the day, education, going to school, not education per se, going to school is actually an economic skill, and one of the major tools your child needs to be economically placed or stable in life is self-confidence. By the time we do not understand how our children learn, instead of also meet their learning needs, we are judging, we are condemning, we are pressuring them. At the end of the day, one of the things we do is that we kill their self-confidence. And guess what? That self-confidence is one of the tools they actually need to be economically stable in life. One of the things they need is that self-confidence to believe in themselves, to be bold enough and actually run after their dreams or run for their dreams. But because we are trying to pressure them, we kill that self-confidence. So at the end of the day, they are not going to struggle because they were not book smart or they were not smart in school. They are not going to struggle. They are going to struggle because they lack self-confidence. So when you understand your child, you are able to understand these basic things. Now, another thing we need to understand in our children is their developmental age or phase. I've talked about this in passive, I've talked about this aggressively several times. There is something called developmental age in your children, in your child. When it comes to their cognitive domain, it is in stages. When it comes to their moral domain, it is in stages. When it comes to their physical, every single area of your child, it actually happens in stages. The same way you do not give a newborn, you don't give them solid food to eat. The same way you don't expect certain things from certain children. It is the same thing. You don't expect children. Children cannot reason, even to the extent that they are teenagers. They still struggle to reason, let alone we expect our 2 years old, we expect our 3 years old, we expect our 4 years old. No, they are not reasoning, they are not thinking, they are learning by observation, they are learning by watching people around them. They are learning to see how you react to things. That is how they are reacting to things. A child does something, a child is upset, you are upset, you hit the child learns that is how you respond to that thing. Until such a time, of course, a time will come when a child will begin to learn away from what you have programmed them. They'll begin to be authentic. They'll begin to identify themselves. They begin to know who they are. Until that time, the child solely depends on you to learn. That is why you see they will do everything you do. The way you respond to them when you are upset is the way they are likely going to respond to someone else when they are upset. You hit your child because you are upset. You hit your child and they are upset that you hit them. They are hitting you back because you have taught them that when you are upset, the thing to do is to hit, because they are not able to reason. When they are able to reason, they will now know that, okay, she hits me because I have offended her. That's why she's hitting me. Okay, let me apologize for offending her. They are able to reason that way. Till then, they are not able to reason. They believe that, oh, you hit me because you are upset. I see you angry. You are yelling, so you are hitting me. Now that you have hit me, I feel the pain of the hitting. So when you feel pain, what you do is yell. What you do is hit. So they are hitting back and they are yelling back because they are not able to reason, because they are not able to think for themselves. What they are just only able to do is to respond to you the way you are responding to them. So you need to know the age of development, the developmental phase your child is in. I've talked about when it comes to the moral development, the moral domain, when children learn what is right, learn between what is right and what is not right. Sorry, I'm just really stressed. It's been a long day. That's why you see me kind of struggling with my words. But because this is something I need to do, this is a class that is ongoing, I did not want to push it forward. That is why I'm doing it today. I don't want to say, okay, tomorrow or next tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'm still going to go through the stress I went through today. And next tomorrow, I'm still going to go through the stress I went through today. So there is no point saying, oh, next tomorrow, and then I push it to next week. No. I did not want that. That's why despite the fact that I have a lot, I'm doing this. So I was talking about the moral stages of development children go through. There are phases where children, all they do is to copy. I had visitors that left today. They've been in my house for over a week, and I could see my children, especially my older son, copying a lot from the older child, copying a lot. I shared in the Visionary Parents Academy already. I gave them a voice note and explained everything. I even did a conversation and shared with them. You know, that's one of the things we get in the Visionary Parents Academy, because we are practical, because we don't hide anything. We are there to learn. So personally, I don't hide anything. If it's going all rosy, I'm sharing. If it's going all topsy-turvy, or the way they call it, I'm sharing, so that we all can learn, grow together, and all of that. So if you're not in the Visionary Parents Academy, you're missing a great deal. I want to encourage you to join the Visionary Parents Academy, because we do a lot there. We learn a lot, we get empowered practically, no judgment. We are all there to learn and grow. Okay, that aside, I was talking about my son. I noticed that he was doing a lot of copying. Why? Because he's still in that, he has not reached that age where he's able to internalize, he's able to understand so much the difference between wrong and right. He understands it to the extent that he has been taught, to the extent that the foundation has been laid. But for him to now add his reasoning to it, to solidify it, I'm laying the foundation, and as he's growing, he's adding his reasoning and he's solidifying. Until he gets to that extent, he's still going to look around and he's still going to get influenced, because at some point children are just in that obedience phase. When they're in that obedience phase, it's about following rules and regulations, not necessarily because they have internalized it, not necessarily because they can reason it, but because it is just what it is. I don't want to be punished, I don't want consequences. They follow just rules and regulations. So as a parent, you need to understand these things. If you don't understand, you are going to pressure your child. I always say, I have never seen a parent who doesn't want the child to turn out well, but we see people these days who see people every now and then who do not turn out well. What do you think is the problem? What do you think? The problem is, parents are following they are saying one thing, another thing they are doing another thing. And one of the reasons why you are not doing the things that align with what you actually want is because you do not have a vision. Now, even when you have a vision, your actions do not align with your intention. Your action do not align with your intention. And one reason why your action do not align with your intention, because you don't understand the child you have. You go out there, someone says one thing, you pick it up. You go out there, you see another thing happening to another child, you pick it up. You do not understand that every child is not the same. I remember growing up, one of the things my parents used to do a lot, telling my dad, was comparing. Oh my God, they used to compare us a great deal. Yes, ma, register for the Visionary Parents Academy. Thank you, ma. Thank you so much, ma. They used to compare us a great deal. Without realizing that, see, we were not the same. Without realizing that, see, our factors were not the same. Even the environment, even the way we are being nurtured, we are not the same. Many parents still do it till today. They still do it today, compare their children, because they see another child, they see another family, and the next thing, they are comparing their children, because you do not understand the child you have. Dear parents, I tell you, you have 4 children. The 4 children will not be the same. Someone says, oh, the child cries non-stop. And I said, it is because everyone, there are some people, something just happened. They cry a little and they stop. They have that internal natural capacity to just get over things. I remember one time, a long time ago, I think when I was doing, was it? I don't remember, a long time ago, there was a woman that had a set of twins. She was carrying one, her husband was carrying one, or something like that. It was raining, I still was in Lagos, and the road was not, it was not a tarred road, it was a road that was muddy road, and it just finished raining, it was still drizzling, we're all just walking down, we're going to get some items, and the 2 kids, they were crying non-stop. what they wanted to do was the woman for the man and the woman to put them down so that they could play. You know how children, they like to splash water. That was what they wanted. But the parents were not going to put them down because they will get stained. So they brought out something. I don't remember what they brought out. They were just playing with the children. One of them took the thing, and before you know what was happening, she had stopped crying. He was playing with whatever they gave him to play. He had stopped crying, and he was playing and enjoying himself. The other one did not stop. The other one did not stop. He kept crying. In fact, instead of him to stop, the more they told him sorry, the more his voice was increasing. He intensified he raised his voice. He kept on crying. Twins, 2 boys. The parents even wore them the same clothes, wore them the same sandals. You know, everything, they were so the same, even though they were not extremely identical. But they looked you could tell they were twins. You would always, even without wearing them the same clothes, you tell they were twins. They were they were not such fraternal, but they were not such identical. They were just like in between, a mix of fraternal, a mix of identical. You know, he was crying. The other one had stopped crying. The other one kept crying. So as a parent who understands your child, you will know that particular one that was crying, that was still struggling too much, it may be that child is a very strong-willed child. You know, the go-getter child. I want what I want. You know, the child has already imagined what he was going to do on the ground. You know, imagine everything. When I get down now, I'm going to do this, the child had imagined everything. And now the parents were denying the child that opportunity. The child don't want to stop crying. It is. So the same way we have children who stop. You know, there are some people that internalize hurt when they get hurt like this, before they will stop. There are people. So I read some time ago. Somebody was saying that I don't know how people do it. Some people, because 1 million years ago they were typing on their laptop, they did not save, and because they lost that document, they did not save. After 1 million years, when they now type, after typing a particular every letter they type, they save. After every letter they save. She was saying she doesn't know how they do it, because even though she has lost her document 1,001 times, she still doesn't type and save. You know, like she has not learned from her lessons. So for some people, it's something like that. When something happens, they hold on to it for a lifetime. If you have that kind of a child, there's every tendency that when something happens, they are crying. Oh my God, they are going to cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and cry for a long time. So if you have that child, then you know that you need to prepare for that. All you need to begin to teach them, instead of breaking them more, instead of beating them, instead of telling them not to cry and have them internalize the pain they are feeling, thereby making them feel that their emotions are not valid, their pains are not valid. What you need to do to such children is to actually begin to teach them how to more self-regulate, how to get over hurt quickly. You begin to teach them what they can do. A lot of things they can do. They can begin to see how they can turn their pain into strength, So as they grow older, something has happened. What are you going to do? Did you learn from it? Are you going to write about it? Are you going to draw about it? Are you going to paint about it? Are you going to start creating something? What are you going to do with that pain that you are feeling? Instead of telling them to internalize it. Because at the end of the day, when they internalize it, they keep internalizing it. A day will come, they can't take it no more. They will burst out, they become explosive. Or why some, the more they internalize it, the more they become depressed, because nobody wants to hear them. They feel, oh, nobody cares, nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to listen. They keep internalizing until one day they can take it no more and they become depressed. So understanding your child is nothing that you should even, it's not something you should even joke with. You should spend your time studying and understanding your child. And it doesn't just stop at understanding your child. When you understand your child, make sure you take action. Make sure you find out you understand your child. Use that understanding to create a plan to raise the child you have. You understand your child, use that understanding to create a curriculum to raise your child. Every child is not the same. You may have 4 or 5 children. You are still going to parent them the same and differently. I remember I've always shared this I've shared this over and over again, that I have 3 kids. one of my kids, especially my older kids, if he comes forward to ask me for something, now I'm not going to give him an automatic no. Why? I'm not going to give him an automatic yes, rather, sorry, even if it's something I want to do or something I want to give him, I will not automatically say yes. I will not say yes because I want him to learn to stretch himself. I want him to learn to ask. I want him to learn to negotiate. I want him to learn to persist. He needs to learn to persist. But for my daughter, for example, if I'm giving her a no, it has to be a no. I'm not even going to give her the opportunity of say, okay, I give you a no so that she can come and ask. Because even when you give her a no and it has to be a no, she's not going to take a no. She's going to come and negotiate. She's going to come and ask you. She's going to find out why it has to be a no. When you give her why it has to be a no, she'll still come back and come and negotiate. Come and see how she can change your no to a yes. You see that kind of a person? I want her to learn how to take a no and how a no has to be a no, so that she will learn how to take a no, because how to take a no is a skill that children need to learn. So I need her to learn how to take a no. But the other one, I need her to learn how not to take a no. Sorry, I need him to learn how not to take a no. I need him to learn how to stretch, how to negotiate, how to persist. So both are my children. I'm raising them, but by temperament, they are different. So when you understand your child's temperament, you understand your child, you need to create a plan, a curriculum to be able to accommodate that child you understand, so that you can raise that child you have. It is super important. You pay attention to understanding your child. Now, one of the things very many parents do, even till today, is we do not invest in parenting knowledge. We do not. See, it is very important. If you come, for example, you are on my free group, you ask questions, it's okay, I can answer you, definitely. But I am not going to prioritize you, because I have people who registered for the Visionary Parents Academy. They have questions to ask all the time. They have questions to ask. So I'm always with them. If I have my time of the day, I set out to answer questions, whether in the free group or in the paid group. So when I come there and I see that, okay, the free group, they have questions, the paid group, they have questions, I'm going to prioritize the paid group. And when they have the questions left, when they have time left, I go to the free group. And guess what? You cannot say, oh, what is there? You know it. You cannot know it. Because there are people who have devoted their time to research, to knowledge, to learning. Someone like me, I have devoted my time to research, to learning about parenting. So you cannot know it as much as I know it. It is the truth of the matter. I have recently, we moved to this place, and I decided to give my service to my church community, to teach the children there. While I'm teaching the children the preteens, I'm learning more. I'm seeing how they are behaving. I'm learning more. When I was in Lagos, I gave myself also. I taught in schools. I went around schools. I taught over 1,500 children. I'm learning from them. From there, I went to my church, my fellowship. I was teaching the children in my fellowship. I'm learning from them. I constantly keep my house open. For the past over 1 week, I've had 4 teenagers, 4 children living with me. 2 teenagers, two teenagers and 2 preteens coming to stay. I have children constantly coming around. One of the things I do that I keep my house open, even when it's not super convenient, is because I'm learning from them constantly learning from them. I'm learning from them so that I can get more empowered, so that my knowledge bank can be richer. So when I'm talking to you, I know exactly what I'm saying. You may not have that luxury. You may not have that opportunity. That may not be your line. So you see, someone who is constantly giving herself to research, she will know more than you. So when he proffers solutions, or when she gives you advice, or when she gives you suggestions, it is going to yield, it is going to benefit you more. So I want to encourage you, invest in parenting. Invest in parenting. And because I'm a parenting coach, I have questions every single day. I have parents, we work together every single day. As I'm speaking here, I have parents I need to get back to. I have parents that need to get back to me. They need to get back to me tomorrow. They need to get back to me next tomorrow. They need to get back to me after then. I have parents constantly working with, needing to get back to me. Report to me what they are doing, how it's going. So, dear parents, you need to invest in parenting. You need to go beyond, and our parents didn't have to learn parenting, so what is the big deal? You need to go beyond that. I'm sorry I can no longer go on because I'm literally, I'm really, really exhausted. I'm literally forcing myself, pushing myself to do this. I have a lot to talk about, but don't worry. If you are from the Visionary Tribe, we are still going to have another challenge after the self-led mentorship class. That way, we are going to have something. We are going to have something more productive than the challenge we just had now. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you next time. Bye-bye.